Hi guys, so just gonna do a quick video about one of the biggest problems that I have with FC25, and it was also my biggest problem with FC24 as well. As I played FIFA 23 quite a lot with my son, and we played a lot of drop-ins. That was one of our favorite things to do, especially sort of just like at a weekend or something like that, when there would be a lot more people online as well, and just as a bit of fun and stuff, just go and do drop-ins with random people, switch the mics on and stuff. And with it being on PlayStation 5, it's easy anyway because you have the built-in microphone on your controller. So just have it switched on and then just play with randoms, have a bit of banter with them, wind them up a little bit when they do something bad, you know, have a go at someone when they're not passing, and then, just having banter with people, like back and forth when they'd start saying to you that you're a bad player or whatever, and then you just like have a mess about with them. And then the other side of it is like, you'd get like a good bunch of people that you would end up playing with who would pass it around a bit and try and play the game like as a team instead of like solo players. And then the microphones came in really handy for that because you could just say, I'm in, pass, 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 oh, well done, good try and stuff, and give them some encouragement and stuff. Um, so it was kind of nice for that. So you had like some good, so you could get teamwork going as well when you've got a good team. So you got both sides of the spectrum with it. You'd get the good and the bad. Um, and I know a lot of people probably don't like it or whatever, and kind of got annoyed or frustrated, and probably maybe quit the game because of feeling like bullied or whatever. But you always add the option to mute people or turn off voice chats and things like that anyway. So, for me personally, I don't accept the argument of it doesn't matter because most people didn't like it or whatever, because I think that's rubbish because, FIFA 23, every single drop in we played, there was always at least one other person on our team that had a microphone. At least one other person. And quite often it was everybody had a microphone, It was only the odd game, I think maybe out of over 100 games that we played, I think maybe only two or three that there wasn't mics or the mics weren't working or something. Um, but otherwise, there was always someone at least. Now, when we got to FC24, like we expected that to be working, and it wasn't at all. And there was nothing. All you had was you could go. I'm in FC25 now, but you could go into the EA Connect part here by pressing like R2, and you'd have your friends list and all that kind of thing here, and then you'd have like the social settings, which you could go down to voice and stuff and make sure that it was enabled. And I think there was like option to mute, unmute, or whatever in there. Can't quite remember without going into the game, but there was a couple of little options, but it was like a general option kind of thing. And it just never worked, no matter what you did. Also, like when you'd go into a game, you'd get into a drop-in game, and you'd start playing the game. You would go into like the pause menu, which you had to be really quick because once you're inactive for a few seconds, it kicks you out of the game. So you'd have to go into the pause menu, um, and then I think it was press square while he was on the menu screen, and it bring up the player list for both teams, and then you could unmute the players, but it never worked. Or if it did work, it was because everyone else had you muted or whatever, and they were muted, and they had to do it themselves, so and they didn't do it. So it seemed as default everything was switched off, and you had to go looking for ways of switching it on. Instead of it should be on by default, and you should have to switch it off, and it should be something very simple like this on FC25. I think it might have been the same for FC24, but you just go into the EA Connect by pressing R2, and you had social settings by pressing the options button, and then down to voice, and it had off, enable or disable, and that's it. That's what it should be. Like, but the problem with FC25 is you've got that in here, but you also have, when you go into Connect, is you've got press L2, as you can see there at the bottom, chat, and it's got party. So you press L2, and then if I was in a team like in a party channel or whatever with like Aaron or whatever. He was invited me, or I invited him. We was in a party channel. We'd only hear each other, and then if we was in with randoms as well, we can switch between us two, because he'd have invited me on EA Connect, or we can go to Team Channel, which should, once you switch to that, you should be able to hear everybody else, and then voice chat off for off. So that should all you need is that. And I remember this wasn't in FC24. 100% this wasn't in FC24. If it was somewhere, it was hidden because I never saw it. All I see was the bit with the unmute and mutes and things like that, and in other option things. But I don't ever remember seeing this one where you pressed L2 in EA Connect from this menu screen, and then you could switch it. And unless everybody we've played against, and we've played maybe 25 matches of Rush and about 20 or so drop-ins, and we've heard no one on the mics, and we've tried all kinds of things. We've tried, changing it to the team channel and everything on there, switching off cross-play, so we're only playing with people on PlayStation, just in case that was a thing. You can only talk to people on PlayStation only. So we just tried to join games with just PlayStation only people, and that doesn't work. I don't remember there being an option once you're in the game to pause it and then mute people. But I'll maybe have to check that bit out. But it shouldn't be this hard when FC23 everything was on by default and you had to switch things off. And I get that some people don't like this. They don't want to be able to hear people, but really it should all be on by default, and it all should be working, and it should just be, an option as simple as this in here. Going in, pressing L2, and staying in a party chat with your friend. If you just want to talk to your friend only and you don't want to hear other people because you think they're going to be toxic or whatever, you just stay with your friend. Or if you don't have a party or whatever and you're playing on your own, just go in here and switch voice chat off. And that's as simple as that. It's a quick, easy thing. But even if this was switched off by default, even if it was just switched off by default and you could just come in here, it's a couple of presses, and you could press this and it would just be on and it would be working. The only thing that seems to be working is party channel. That's it. That's the only thing. If I go into team channel with Aaron, I'm pretty sure I can't hear him or whatever. But as soon as I go back to party channel on here, I can hear him. Or if I go into party chat through the PlayStation, itself, then I can hear him. But in team channel, you don't hear anyone else unless everybody has had it switched off, which I very much doubt, because, like I say, FIFA 23, there was always people who had mics on. And I don't believe for a second that there's nobody out there who would not want to talk on their mic, especially as we're not in the PlayStation 3 era or anything like that where you had to buy a headset or anything like that. The controller has a microphone built in. And most of the time, people have it switched on without even knowing they've got it switched on, and then realize and then switch it off. But there's nothing, not even any music or whatever, people playing their music through there, nothing. So yeah, that's something they need to fix badly. That's the main thing for me, is that's a priority, because it takes the fun away. Like I wanted to play drop-ins all the time on FIFA 23, because of just the banter and stuff. It just made it more fun sometimes. Now, all you've got that's different from FC24 when it comes to the drop-ins is you've got the quick chat options, which is, up, down, left, right on the D-pad of the controller for, pass, cross, all that kind of thing. Thanks, unlucky, sorry. And that's it. That's all you got. So, they need to fix the voice chat, because, how you meant to have fun with randoms, you know. Some of us like that. Some people probably don't, but that's, for me, the main thing they need to fix with this game. And I don't know, rush mode is kind of fun, but I've got some videos where, me and Aaron we just get battered. I think it's most of the time you're up against people that are just in parties. I think maybe Rush is one of them things where It should be maybe randoms against randoms and parties against parties or something like that, with the option of, you know, going into like a against a partied up team with randoms. Should just be a couple of little options there, I think. So, you know, because sometimes it just feels like you go up against a team of 90 and above, and they're all 90 and above, and they're all in a party chat or whatever, and they're all friends, and they're all in one of them clubs or whatever. And then you're kind of screwed, because you're always with, like, especially me and Aaron, we're with two random people, and it's just pot luck. Sometimes you get one of them doesn't move. Other times they don't pass or whatever, and they pass only between themselves because they're their own party. So it's like two parties within one game, and yeah, just make that option. I think, you know, just for parties against parties, randoms against randoms, and then have like the option for randoms against parties, as you know, as an option to switch on or off. And then I think you kind of make everyone else happy. Then it's not like there's not that many people online. I know it's only says 14,000 now, but that was because the network was down and stuff just now. But you know, some days it's been over 2 to 300,000 people online, so there's enough people to be able to join. So yeah, fix it, EA. You can't just have this kind of function in a game for years, and then it be broken for 2 years in a row and not do anything or say anything or try and fix it. It's ridiculous.